Hello, everyone. Dr. Ames here. I'd like to talk to you about fundamentals of management, give you an introduction to the course, and run through the syllabus with you and the various elements so you'll know what I'm expecting in the class. Let's just start right out with our website. So let me share the site with you first. And so here we are. This is what you're going to see when you land on the home page. I will put this video right here, as you can see, video orientation video coming soon. I've set it up to try and be a little different than I've done some of my classes in the past with the website. And I've created these icons that link you to all the significant things of the course. So I thought before I work through the syllabus, let me just work through the information that's here. This is the heart of the course and show you how to use it. So first we have our weekly schedule. And you can see here, here's the daily agenda. First week, we're going to meet Thursday, the 21st. We're going to talk about the syllabus, just like I'm doing now, all of this stuff. And you can see in week 2, at the top of each week, I will list what's due that week for work, so you'll know right away. So next week, the week after our first week meeting on Thursday, you have a discussion, critical thinking discussion due on Wednesday. You have one due on Friday, and you've got an assignment one due on Saturday. And I've mixed these discussions and assignments up throughout the semester. They're not going to take a really incredibly long time, but they are going to help you get through the material of the course, reinforce the things I talk about, and help you do better on the exams. What you're supposed to read for that second week right here, chapter 1, we're going to talk about managing and the manager's job. So that's the introductory chapter. And you can see that it'll only take one meeting. We'll work on chapter 2 next. It takes a little bit more time. We'll talk about the history of management and so forth. In this one, we'll do 2 meetings on it and so forth. You can see in week 3, you've got assignment 2 due on Wednesday, assignment 3 due on Saturday. Whenever possible, if there's only one thing due a week, I've tried to make it due on Saturday unless it's a discussion. It sort of depends on where the exams fall and so forth. And I'm trying to group the best as I could the critical thinking discussions and the material in the assignments with the weekly readings. And I've more or less gotten that right, I think. We're really going to approach the course in distinct modules, so I should mention that. Module 1 is the first 2 chapters, introducing management. So we'll talk about management as a profession, and then we'll talk about the history of it. We'll get to the second module. You can see chapters 3 through 5, and we'll talk about environmental context, and then the third module and so forth, all the way on through. So you should have no trouble accessing that. If you need the document, you can click on this link. It'll download for you, and you could print it out if you want it that way. Okay, here are the discussions. Now, I'm doing these a little different than I've done them in the past. In the past, I had discussion forums where you would post a short paragraph, and then you were required later in the week to go back and post a reply to your one of your other student peers' postings. Well, I don't do it that way anymore. What I'm doing with these now is I've created what I'm calling critical thinking posts, where I'm challenging a little bit to relate an experience or an observation you've had about some topic related to our course material, expound on it, and so forth. So let me give you just start right out, show you what discussion 1 looks like. These discussion postings are meant to engage your critical thinking skills by applying your own world experiences to the various contexts explored in the class. Make a posting by the due date indicated on the class website. Please use college level writing and solid grammar in your post. Make it at least 300 words. So pay attention to the word values on these. They differ a little bit. Most are 300 words, but you could find something a little different. Here's how I'll grade it. Did you put enough discussion in? So that will be a reflection on the 300 words. Did you write it well? Was it high quality discussion? And so forth. Did you do it on time? 20 points. I look at these as fairly easy points for you, because if you meet the minimums, you're going to more or less get the great majority of points or all of the points. And there is not necessarily a correct answer. So let me show you what I'm asking you to do this very first discussion. In our discussion of chapter 1 material, we acknowledge that management is both an art and a science. Recall an instance you've had in the workplace or at school, some other organizational setting, where you observed a supervisor or authority figure acting in a way that supports the notion that this is true. And identify whether this instance was a scientific way of managing or an artistic, creative way, and give an opinion on whether you felt that was a good approach, whether they did a good job with it, but give us the details. So that's what I'm looking for. Definitely not a correct answer. It's about doing what I'm asking you. And you'll find these vary. Some are a little more tough for you to think about. Others, hopefully, you will find experiences that you can easily relate to in this sort of thing. So there's our discussions. As you can see, there are 8 of those. Now, here are the assignments. What I've tried to do here is group all the materials that you need to do any given assignment right here in this spot. And I've labeled them for you. So assignment 1, here are the questions for the assignment. I say, since I can only open a Word document in a PDF, that if you download this, fill in the answer, save it, and then come over here, right here, to the Dropbox and stick it in. I can open it, and it's very convenient for you located on the same page. Seeing this video here, I've got a YouTube account where I've been stacking all these videos I've been making for you, and there'll be a question or two. If there's a video here, generally you'll find that there's a question or two in the assignment that relates to the video. As you can see, assignment 2, another video. Assignment 3, let's see, there's something else here. I put the PowerPoint with it. I may refer to a PowerPoint slide or the information I give in a lecture related to the slide. Generally, when I make any videos, most of the more recent ones all have PowerPoint slides. Some of these right here, these older ones, I made these a little earlier, don't have the PowerPoint slides, but I think it's pretty clear what I'm talking about. So you can see the things that you need for each assignment are here. Assignment 4, here's the PowerPoint as well. Here's a video that is in the questions and that figures in it and so forth. Now, one thing to note, besides the 8 assignments, you have a case study assignment. This is worth 50 points. This is meant to challenge your critical thinking skills. Besides all this foundational material in the course, that really is what the course is about. Learning a lot of concepts, terms, definitions, lists of things. This is all supportive material to anybody who wants to be in business. And so if you are going to go into business, be a manager, be an entrepreneur, an owner of something, this information and fundamentals of management will be very useful to you. So I say embrace it as best as you can. The case study is meant to take many of the things we've talked about early in the course and apply them in a real world discussion. And so take it seriously. Don't wait until the last minute to do it. I've got it due approximately the middle of the course. I can't quite read my due date here, but we'll get to that in a moment. So you can see what the assignments are all about. One thing to mention about all these various links and things pages I've set up for you, I could make an error very easily. It's happened in the past. If you find an error on the website or something that's inconsistent, it doesn't agree, like my syllabus says one thing and then the assignment Dropbox says another, shoot me an email. I'll find out what the problem is and I'll fix it for you. Here are the video lectures. There I am smiling again. I'm usually a happy guy. And what I've done is I do have some chapters. These earlier ones, I did make them a few months ago when I was first making my first videos. But as time went, I started using PowerPoint slides, as you can see here in chapter 4. And I think these are a little more engaging for you rather than just hearing me talk and so forth. And so these will be good supplementary material. If you've missed a lecture, particularly in these later chapters, come check these out. I don't have lectures for every single chapter, but I have it for most. And I will add them over time when I can find time to do it. So you can see I've spent a lot of time trying to provide material for you, but you can see that I haven't gotten past chapter 7 in this course yet with videos. It should be okay. I hope to add to those as we move ahead. So I'm trying to provide as much information as I can to support you. Study guides isn't something I do for a lot of courses, but I did do these a while ago. I didn't put the chapter numbers on them, but I think you can easily match up to the chapters with these topics. They match what's in the rest of the information. Let me just show you one. If I can get it to open. There we go. Okay, that's not going to open in a window. It looks like it wants to download, so let me just open it up for you. Now, these study guides are going to parallel my lectures, my videos, and so forth, so you're going to get a lot of reinforcement. If you do not want to watch all these, that's up to you. It's your choice how much you engage with the class. Get rid of this message driving me crazy. A little slow with all these windows open, evidently. Okay, basic elements of organizing. I believe this may be chapter 10. And you can see I've just put a lot of information in here. Some of the graphics from the PowerPoints and stuff are in here. But there's a lot of great information, and this is a lot of testable information as well. And let's just get rid of that. Let me go back because I realize that I did not show you an assignment. So let me do that. Here's assignment 1. Very few of these assignments are going to require you to go to the textbook, look up some information, and answer questions. I believe there could be some of that in a few of these, but I've tried to minimize that. All right, let's take a look and see what this first assignment looks like. I try to be specific. If I've confused you in any way, shoot me an email. All right, a 20-point assignment. I'm telling you, read this scenario I've created, and it's about levels of management. So you read the scenario. I'm asking you to do a few things related to that information, and then I've switched topics. Here, I've switched to span of management. I've given you one question. It also relates to the scenario. Now down here, once you get past the first 5 questions, I'm saying now, take a look at that YouTube video available on the website. So you can go to the video lectures, find the one, chapter 1, Intro to Management, part 1, listen to it. And what I would recommend is just have these questions printed out and ready. And as you watch it, write down the answers because it's sequential, and that should save you some time and be easy for you. And so I'm asking you very basic things that will reinforce the lectures and reinforce the test material. Management is based on, and you pick the correct answer and tell me. You can bold it, highlight it with color, I don't care. So this is a very quick and easy assignment. Let me show you the case study. This just came out in print this week. I've waited 8 months or more for it to hit print from Sage Publications. And I own the copyright still in it, so I was able to sell it to them. And so it fits in perfect with this material in the course. And you can see, here's the case study. It's not real long. Well, it says 17 pages, but about 4 or 5 of that is really references. Okay, so you read that, and I would recommend doing the same thing. Let's see. The second link there, I believe this should be the questions, and it is. I'll identify that, I'll relabel that and say questions. So read along, and this is not something to take lightly. I am trying to challenge you here to make the course have a critical thinking element that I've kind of lacked it in the past. I've been overwhelmed with so much material in a course like this that I've focused on that, but I realize I can incorporate some critical thinking and challenge you a little bit. Too many of you need to be challenged and want to be challenged, and so I'm responding to that. Identify the elements of Ron Johnson's approach to differentiation. We will talk about differentiation, all the many things it could be. There's lots of elements of differentiation in the case. I want you to identify them, give me the facts, be very specific. This is worth 10 points. This is another one here. 2-part question. I'm asking you to analyze him in terms of this sort of taxonomy and then write an analysis. So you put some score points here. and then you write your analysis. Here, give me the details of his communication style with his workforce and with Penny's customers. And then make sure you're answering specifically the inferences I'm asking. If you see a question for 10 points, this is much more points than in any of my assignments. Generally, I don't give much above 3, 4, or 5, and most of my questions are 1 or 2 points. So this tells you that I am looking for discussion, critical thinking, and analysis. And the same with this. I give you something to look at. It's something we will talk about in class, and then I want you to apply it to the case. So this will challenge you a little bit. Okay, and then when you've got it done, I would just print that thing out, just like the assignments, write your answers, submit it to the Dropbox. I do say questions here. It's very hard for me to read it. I have so much glare in here, and I apologize for the glare on my glasses. I just couldn't get rid of it. I'm in the dark room. We turned on the lights, didn't seem to help. It's coming from way behind me in the other room, and I can't really get rid of it. Okay, I've done assignments. Let's see what we still have left to talk about here. And the final thing is the PowerPoints. I use these. I never used to use PowerPoints. I like to just lecture off the cuff. But I know that you need something for support to refer to and all of that. So I've moved to PowerPoints over the last couple of years. And they're all right here for you. They will parallel what I'm going to talk about very closely. I try not to waste your time. And this will be the heart of what I test you on, but you'll also be tested on the material in the textbook and the assignments and so forth, and the video lectures and all of that. Okay, so that's everything available to you right here on the home page. Let's take a look real quickly at the syllabus. We won't have to make any stops along the way to take a look at those examples, so let's just run through this. First of all, I put a link for the syllabus for you right here. So if you want to download it and print it, just click on it. It'll come down and you can print it on out. This is going to be a Tuesday, Thursday class, meeting at 8 o'clock. We're in the main lecture hall at Coulter. So we're in that really big amphitheater. I've never lectured in a big hall like that, quite honestly. I've been down there and made comments before, but I've never really spoken it. We will work it out. Try not to sit at the top of the room, but I know that the room is probably already altered for COVID seating and all of that. So we will work that out when we get there. I will be wearing a mask, so I want you to be able to hear me and so forth. Let's talk about the description of the course. It is an introduction to basic concepts of management. The learning objectives, 5 modules like I discussed with the daily agenda. The topics are the nature of management, the management environment, planning and decision making, organizing, the controlling process. Probably not too much on leading, but an ongoing theme in the courses is comparing leading versus managing as we go. The learning objective really of this course is to give you conceptual material, basic definitions of terms, lists of factual material and so forth related to contemporary management. And also, I've tried to create some critical thinking coursework for you that you can express yourselves in the discussions in a written fashion and so forth. No prereqs, of course, for a 200 level, although some 200 levels in the department do have a prereq. This course does count if you're in the, let's see, is this Breakthrough, I believe, is the new thing. It's in the theme institutions, Society for Breakthrough. It's a general elective for new foundations, the older curriculum that some students are still on. It's an elective for the business admin degree, but actually it's more than just, it's not really an elective. It's an elective for your gen ed. It's really a core requirement of the business admin degree. So whether you take accounting, finance, management, business admin degree, something like that, you're going to have to take this course. And it's a requirement also, if you decide to get the nonprofit management certificate, I'm the guy for that. It's a 4-course sequence. It includes this one as the prereq for all the 3 other courses. You would take cross-cultural management, human resource management, and ended up with nonprofit management. You do that within a 2-year period and so forth. You file a paper with me the last year of your, or the last semester you're here before you graduate. I'll certify that you're either in the last class or you've completed it, and you'll get a certificate with your degree. Now, this is just a bit of fluff, quite honestly, for your resume. It's only 4 courses, doesn't make you an expert in nonprofits, but it is good for your resume. It's good for getting a job. And it does show that you put in some effort and learned a little bit more than the average bear. Um, the learning objectives, you can read through these. I'm serious about these. This is exactly what I was talking about up here in the course description, really. You ought to be able to take this information, and although this is not a practical application course, it's mainly conceptual and terminology and all of that. You can still take this stuff once you learn it and apply it. And I have had many students, and I know this to be true myself, who have told me later that in their job, they saw exactly the things I was talking about. Some of the same dynamics and circumstances came up and so forth. So I would say that this is real world stuff. We're lucky so far. We haven't had a new edition of this book for a while. As you can see, 3 years. Most major texts go about every 2 years at the most. So the price is down. You will need the textbook if you want to do well in this course. You should read it for that foundational material, not just rely on me, because I can't cover everything in the chapters. And certainly I will look at occasional things that are significant and I don't have time to cover, and you could see the occasional question on the test. So at least read that material. The upside for you on this is these are going to be online tests. And so I'm not going to do them in the classroom. You'll be able to use all the materials. And so if you read the chapters ahead of time, and then when the exam comes, you can sit there and be prepared and just go right through it. Here's my teaching and learning philosophy. You can read this. This is what I'm all about. When it comes to grades, I'm going to be really prompt with as fast as I can, within a couple of days usually, sometimes as soon as you turned in, for the discussion postings, for the assignments, any work due in the class. I'm going to get it up on your grade form. So anytime in the class, you ought to be able to come over here to the grades tab, click on it, and you will know your exact standing in the class. If you ever find an error or some discrepancy in there, contact me right away and we'll figure out where I went off track. Here's the dates for the exams. I haven't written them yet. I don't use the same exam every time. I redo it. So all those exams sitting in the file cabinets and some of the frat houses won't help you too much. But the thing is, I've de-emphasized the test. I used to do 100-point standard every test, and no more. That puts a lot of emphasis. In this case, that would be 500 points. No. So what I do is I write up the test. I look at it, I want it to be somewhere under 100 points. So I try and work it out, 1.5 points, 2 points a question, depending on the length of the test, and keep it down a little bit. That way, the importance of these discussions goes up as point values as well as the assignments. So I'm trying to be as fair as possible. And that's what I'm doing here. And you can see my little explanation. All the discussions are worth 20, 160 easy points. I say, just sit down, give a little reflection, write me up something, hit the minimum level. This is going to help you a lot. Here's the due dates. I've been known to make a few errors here. I fixed it 2 or 3 times already, because putting a course together, you move things around and change, you cut, paste, and unlike a lot of people, I make errors. Here's the assignments, when they're due, the points, same caveat there. Let me know if I've messed up. Now, the school has adopted the plus minus thing. I'm not a real big fan of this, but I have to follow the rules, but I'm going to bend them a little bit because it is my class. If you hit, the main thing I will do is if you hit 90%, I'm not giving you an A minus. I'll give you an A. I think this is a tough course because of the sheer volume of the material, the challenges in front of you, and so forth. So if you hit 90, I'll give it to you. A lot of times, I will use the A minus as a bump up. If you hit 89%, I'm going to go back and look. Did you turn everything in? Did your test scores remain strong or get better? Attendance good? Come to class and all of that. If I see a lot of pluses there, I'm liable to give you the A minus. So I don't have a quota for grades. I want everybody to get high grades. I could care less how many A's I give. I would like it to be a lot. I do not like to give low grades. So if you start struggling in the class, you should contact me. Let me know what your problems are. If I know what's going on, I'm a pretty sympathetic person. So work with me, and I will work with you. Course assignments, Word document only, PDF only. And I will say they are meant to give you an up-to-date look at the typical manager's environment. They are not meant to be incredibly hard. I would like you to do more critical thinking on the case study and on the discussions. These are going to be look up the facts, tell me what I'm asking. This is stuff that you want to write down so that you remember it and so forth and be ready for the exams. 5 exams, no final. When we get to the last exams, you won't be coming back for finals week. So I don't do finals. What I would appreciate is during that finals week, sometime, even on the day that our finals scheduled, if you want, go and do an assessment before the course. It makes the deans feel all warm and fuzzy. It'll help me get better. And I would appreciate that. I can take some criticism, just be honest with me and not too brutal. Discussions, 8. I think I've talked about those enough. Pay attention to the word requirements so you don't lose 3-4 points for not making it to 300. You can come up with 300 words for these things. I've had students do it plenty of times. So don't think that I'm asking too much. I don't think I am. Be honest. This is partial elements of you doing things on your own and being on the honor system. Do your own assignments, please. Do your own exams in particular, please, and so forth. One of the things about Westminster College, we believe in integrity and honesty. Let's act like it. I'm supposed to penalize you 10% a week for late stuff. That's what I've always put in my syllabus, because I've found in real egregious circumstances, if I don't put this language in here, students can challenge that. So I put it in. Honestly, I don't like to give late charges. If you've got something going on that's serious, all you have to do is tell me what's going on. I'm not going to penalize you. I want you to do well. I want you to get the work of the course done. I know you work. I mean, for crying out loud, it took me 8 years working part-time as a teacher to get my PhD. I know what it's like, guys, and I worked my entire school career. I've got 5 little degrees, and I get it. I've been on the other side of the room. Use your technology. I don't care if you use the iPad in class, your laptop, whatever. Just stay off the social media. Please pay attention to the course. That's why you're there. One thing I do like about the iPad, I don't use it myself. I got so much going on. Trying to bring the iPad in seems to slow me down, actually. But you can store your PowerPoint slides on OneDrive. You can pull them up in your iPad. You can write notes right on them if you want to. But you could also do the same thing with the study guides and so forth. The government tries to tell you how to be a student. You know, you've got to do this many hours each week to get through the course, to get 3 credits and all that. Do it your own way. Try and improve all the time and improve your methods. If you've got a disability or something I know about, please tell me. I can take that into consideration. And I want to help you. You probably won't have to worry about those of you who might be signed up with the LOC to take testing down there or something. You can work that out with them with an online test if you need to go down there with them or whatever. But otherwise, I think that takes the burden off you. And those exams, they're going to be 180 minutes. The thing with them is that once you open them and start, you can't stop, you're done. And if you close that page or exit it before you've submitted, it'll lock you out, you get a 0. I can't reset it until everybody else in the class is done with it and so forth. So let's avoid that. Do not miss your deadlines. Now, here's that daily schedule again. I will say one thing about all these various things that are due. I have, as a matter of default, Canvas puts the deadlines at 11:59 p.m. Now I could change that, but it is very convenient. But there are some students who seem to think that 11:59 p.m. doesn't mean 1 minute before midnight, the day that I've listed. It means the next day before noon or before 1 o'clock. So remember, 11:59 p.m. is in the evening, okay? And so that's when things are due. So try not to miss the deadlines. If you do miss a deadline for the assignments or discussion, you don't need to send me an email. I'm hooked up with Canvas. They just inundate me with messages every time somebody goes there and puts something in. I will know about it. So if you're late, stick it in the Dropbox right away. Don't get later, and don't send it to my email because unless I tell you to, which sometimes I will, because it may not get graded for a while, or I may just forget about it because I do have a tendency to get myself into too much and I get overwhelmed. Okay, you can see the schedule. One last thing I'll point out to you is that if you choose this option, and I have, after the syllabus, Canvas makes a summary for us. This is a chronological list of all the work due in the course. So if there's a Dropbox and you have to submit something, it is here and it is in order by the due date. So you can see 2 discussions due on Saturday the 30th, assignment 1 and 2 due on Wednesday the 3rd, and so forth. It is a little heavier in some areas of the course, a little heavier with assignments and work in the beginning than the end. It's simply because of the amount of material and the type of material lend itself to assignments a little more than some of the other stuff. That's the only reason. So I tried not to be inconsistent. Okay, folks, that's all I have for you this time. I'll see you on our first meeting on Thursday later in the week.